So as we said, Shankar Mishra, the man who urinated on an elderly woman, has finally been arrested. Let's first break down the details of how he actually tried to evade arrest and also try to escape as far as the cops were concerned. So what do we know so far as Shankar Mishra is concerned and his arrest? The house was locked, family wasn't cooperating is what we were understanding. Initially, we thought he is in Mumbai, then certain relatives said possibly he is in Lucknow, but was finally picked up today from Bengaluru. He went incommunicado and even refused to join the probe. And that's why there were multiple teams that were looking out for Shankar Mishra. He changed his locations to evade arrest as well. As I said, initially it was understood that he was possibly in Mumbai, then in Lucknow, but then finally you had teams that finally caught him from a guest house today in Bengaluru, remained untraceable despite the several raids and despite the fact that several teams were on the ground trying to find him. Later, he was nabbed from a homestay in Bengaluru. Then he was brought to the national capital. Today afternoon, he was produced in the Patiala House Court, and now we're understanding he's been sent for 14 days judicial custody. That's as far as Shankar Mishra is concerned. What about the airline themselves? This is what we've been saying from day one. Forget about whether there has been any sort of deal between the elderly woman and Shankar Mishra, whether there was some compensation given and all of that. That'll come later. What about the responsibility of the airline itself and the crew on board? Today, we're hearing a statement from the management of Air India as well, and they've accepted that there were lapses on their parts. This is what the statement says, and this has been issued by Air India's CEO. We regret and are pained about the incident. Remember, the biggest criticism against Air India has been that why did the crew not help this elderly woman? The case happened on the 26th of November, and if you look at that complaint by that elderly woman, she says the crew wanted to dismiss my problem. Now, the statement further by the Air India CEO goes on to say, we could have handled the matter better if the crew supported the elderly woman and gave her empathy, sensitivity. Possibly things would have been very, very different. The Air India CEO also says that a show cause notice has been issued to the cabin crew and the pilot. We're also understanding the crew members who were on board. So one pilot and 4 other cabin crew members, they've been derostered as well. Remember, the DGCA has also issued a show cause notice to the airline. They will have 2 weeks to respond to the DGCA as well. As far as Air India is concerned, they have now constituted an internal probe as well that has been initiated to look into the lapses by the staff. They will be responding back and writing back to the DGCA as well. But this is what is very, very crucial. The Air India CEO accepting that possibly this is also the time to review the airline's alcohol policy. How much is enough to be served on board? So the larger question that we're asking this evening then, viewers, is yes, Shankar Mishra has been arrested. We'll have to see which way that investigation goes. But was the crew responsible for this entire horror as well? Should crew members face action as well? We're opening our call-in lines, numbers flashing on your screens, 0120-434-1895. I'll repeat the number for you, 0120-434-1895. We would love to hear your views. Let me also now bring in my colleagues who've been tracking these developments for us very, very closely. Yash has been tracking all developments as far as the investigation and also what the airline is saying. Ananya is tracking all the legal aspects of it. Both of them now joining me on the broadcast. Yash, let me come to you first. Finally, you've got Air India cracking the whip as well. What are we hearing from the airline so far as their own internal probe is concerned?
Well, in fact, in the statement, the CEO has categorically said since this incident happened, they were actually in huddle and many meetings were also held in regard to this very issue. In the statement, we have seen how the 4 in particular meetings happened regarding this very case. And in fact, we have also seen how the airlines have cracked the whip on the very crew members who were present on board during this entire incident when happened on board on this very flight, which was flying from New York and which was coming to the national capital. And in fact, 4 crew members have been de-roosted, and in fact, one pilot has also been de-roosted. But the question remains explains that yes, the airlines have swung into action now, but it has been delayed because the entire sequence of event, this entire incident took place on 26th of November. Then this entire incident came to the fore on 28th December when the victim in this particular case lodged a complaint to the airlines, and in fact then only the airlines went ahead and actually registered a formal complaint with the airport police station, which is the IGI police station, and then only this entire thing started. So yes, the airlines have taken an action in this matter, but yeah, it's yet to be seen if any action will be taken against these very people, the crew members, because the ambit in which these people will be actually taken forward and this entire proceeding will happen, this will be done by the DGCA.
Yeah, Yash, I'll request you to stay on with us. Let me bring in Ananya also in the conversation. Ananya, finally, yes, there is some action taking place. Shankar Mishra has been arrested. Talk to us about what happened at the Patiala House Court. The police wanted a 3-day police custody, but only a 14-day judicial custody has been given. Why so?
Well, you know, Ridhima, this case has travelled now a long way. We saw that a criminal complaint was filed, and finally yesterday night, in fact, Shankar Mishra was arrested from Bengaluru in this particular case, and he was produced before Delhi's Patiala House Court today, before Metropolitan Magistrate in the Patiala House Court, and the police was seeking 3 days of police custody remand. However, the court felt that there is no reason to grant a police custody remand. Remember, as per the Supreme Court's judgment in Urination Kumar and others, which is talked about as the precedent when it comes to remand, it is clearly mentioned that the magistrate cannot, in fact, mechanically give out remands. It has to apply its own mind and then see. And exactly that has happened. The court has felt that for recording of 164 statements, for, in fact, recording the statements of the other witnesses into this particular case, which are, in fact, the airline officials and the captain in this particular case, the pilots who were actually flying that particular plane, it is not necessary that his physical presence, Shankar Mishra's physical presence is required, and that's the reason why a police custody remand cannot be granted. Apart from that, what is very, very also important to note is that the observations that were made by the court were that just because of public pressure, just because there is a hue and cry in the public because of this particular matter, it cannot go beyond the law. It cannot say things which are beyond the law. So that's the reason why, in fact, a police custody remand was rejected. Now, a very, very key aspect as to what the police had told the court about this particular investigation, how Shankar Mishra was arrested. He was arrested after his CDR locations were tapped, technical surveillance was used. His last location was in Bengaluru. Then a team was also sent to Mumbai to trace down to him in his office, that is Wells Fargo. However, he was not found there, but definitely after the search ended in Bengaluru when he was arrested from, in fact, a guest house where he was staying alone to evade arrest. And the court also has noted in its judgment, in its order today, that he was non-cooperative. In fact, it also rejected the arguments of the counsel for the accused person that a 354A charge, that is an outraging modesty of a woman, is not made out. Clearly saying that it is a very, very initial stage of the probe and the investigation is a nascent stage, and it cannot be said at this point of time whether or not a particular charge is made out against this particular accused person or not. His bail application is also pending with the court and would be heard on January 11 at around 2 p.m. So we'll have to wait and watch as to whether some kind of relief comes in to Mr. Mishra in this particular case or not. But definitely it is somewhere or the other a big blow to the police, as a PC request has now been denied by the court for interrogating Sanjay Mishra.
That's true. Shankar Mishra has been sent to 14-day judicial custody. Ananya and Yash, thanks a lot for getting us all those details. We'll leave the conversation there.